The Cenobites are extra-dimensional creatures that are brought to our world by the Lament configuration. This is a puzzle box, and the puzzle box, when shifted and put into place, as you're going to see here from the Hellraiser movie, actually opens up a doorway. In the book, it happens a little bit differently. In the book, yes, there is the same situation where you have Frank here looking for pleasure, but there's more explanation. And when the Cenobites do show up, what we're going to end up having is a engineer instead of just the few that do show up and take away Frank. This is Pinhead. In kind of the first time you see him, Pinhead is one of the Cenobites, which is what this video is about. And the Cenobites are a group who are extraterrestrial beings experimenting in the deeper reaches of pleasure in the fictional world created by Clive Barker. Now, one really interesting thing about the Cenobites is, to them, pleasure is different than it is to us. So, they're described as being of the order of the gash, and in the book that comes through a lot, and that is, you can see just here from the stage of the movie, there are gashes in the Cenobites, just in Pinhead right here. But in the book, there's a lot more visceral imagery that goes into it with how the Cenobites actually are deformed and mutilated, opposed to just how they are in the Hellraiser movie. In the Hellraiser movie, a lot of it's kind of for shock value. In the book, it's there for shock value, but it also goes kind of a level beyond that, to where these people have been mutilated just seeking pleasure, and they offer pleasure to Frank. So Frank, in the first few minutes of the movie Hellraiser, is completely destroyed by the Cenobites, whereas in the book there's a lot more to it, and you get a lot better feel of why Frank summoned the Cenobites, because Frank wanted pleasure, and his whole life had been a yearning to get more pleasure. And you get that sense right at the beginning that the whole story is really about pleasure. And the Cenobites have a twisted take on pleasure. It's creating pleasure in an intensity that causes death to most humans, just because we can't handle what they would consider pleasure. What they consider pleasure, we would consider hell. And as soon as the Cenobite is summoned, they must take whoever has summoned them, or whoever has opened the puzzle box. This is a better shot of Pinhead's head. You just saw the other Cenobite there as well. They're mutilated. There are two Cenobites that were shown. I was just trying to move it here quickly to kind of show them. I don't consider the Cenobites to be evil creatures. I think that they're more so just misunderstood monsters, and that's what I love about Hellraiser, the Hellbound Heart, all of Clive Barker's work is the monsters aren't really like they're monsters, but they're not necessarily evil. Like the Cenobites, they're not really evil. Their job is to bring back whoever is summoned by this cube. To them, they're mutilated because the realm they come from. This is what pleasure looks like. They gave Frank pleasure by destroying him because to them, that was what pleasure was. You know, to them, torturing Frank and mutilating him, no, that's not just their job, that's also them doing good things. I would imagine that a Cenobite would view themselves more like an angel than a demon.